Do you want to know the best cavalry gear that you can create for your account right now in June of 2025? Well, stay tuned with me for the next 5 to 10 minutes as I walk you through step by step what gear you should be making based on your account level, whether you're entering your first KVK 1, working your way through the mid game, or if you're just now entering Season of Conquest. But before we get started, what's up everybody? It's your boy Chu, coming back at you with another Rise of Kings video. Let's jump into it. So the very first piece we're going to be talking about here is the Expedition Warhelm. It's going to give you 6% base cavalry defense, and then on top of that, once you crit it, it's going to go all the way up to 8%. The second piece we're going to talk about is the Vanguard Halberd, giving you 9 base cavalry stats, which is insane. 5 of those is going to go to defense, and 4% is going to go to health. And once you get the Greaves, which is going to be the other piece you create for the first cavalry set, it's going to give you a 2% cavalry attack bonus. On top of that, we're going to create the 3 windswept pieces, giving you another 2% cavalry attack. So all in all, your base stats are going to come out to 5.5% cavalry attack, 20.5% defense, and 14% cavalry health. Now you'll also get a 12% march speed bonus. You're not going to get the full windswept march speed bonus because we aren't going to be creating that helmet, but you'll be replacing these windswept pieces very soon anyways. But outside of that, this should be the very first easy to get cavalry gear that you should create before you even get to the Lost Temple. So remember those 2 stable pieces that I just told you to create? Well, keep in mind, you're going to want to try and crit those for the most stats that you can possibly get because those pieces are insane, especially this Expedition War Helmet right here, because this piece right here will stay with you until your 3rd or 4th tier cavalry set, okay? So try and get that crit if you can, but on top of that, we're just going to move on to our secondary gear set that you should be shooting for, which is right here. So basically, you're going to be replacing the 3 windswept pieces and the Vanguard Greaves for all epic pieces for cavalry, and you're going to get a great boost overall to your base stats. So we're going to look at 11.5% cavalry attack, 25% cavalry defense, and 20% cavalry health. Now, we're also going to be trading out that Vanguard Halberd here soon, so just keep that in mind. But your second piece that you're going to be basically replacing it for, staple-wise, is the Gladiator Pants. If you look at the Gladiator Pants right here, it is going to jump us up to 8% cavalry health, and that's a huge boost. And if you get that to a crit, it's going to be 10.5%. So great piece here, and this will stay with you forever, okay, until you replace this late game. So again, getting the crit for the Gladiator Pants is a big thing to try and shoot for. It should be a priority. Now, on top of that, moving into our 3rd tier here, this is what we should be looking for. We're finally replacing that Vanguard Halberd for the Heart of the Saint. So we're taking a slight loss as far as health goes, replacing that Halberd because the Halberd was giving us 4% cavalry health. But we're getting a huge boost to defense because the Heart of the Saint is giving us 13% base defense before the crit. Okay, if you somehow can crit the Heart of the Saint, it's going to boost that all the way up to 17%. And this is a great piece to have overall. Now, this is also the time where we get our first legendary piece, which is going to be the Boots. The Boots is replacing the Cloud Tracers, which was giving us 5.5% attack, and we're going to trade that in for 7.5% health, okay? Now, with health being one of the most sought after stats in Rise of Kingdoms, it's probably going to come at no surprise that this is what our 4th tier set is going to look like, okay? So we're going to finally replace the chest piece and the gloves for the Chest of the Hellish Wasteland and the Navar's Control, which is going to give us a huge boost overall to our health, putting us at 37%, giving us an extra 15% health, and our defense is going to go down to 25%, getting rid of 10.5% defense, which again, totally fine. And these are pre-crit. Again, you could get lucky and get the crit, and your stats could look even higher, okay? So it's here in the game where you should be thinking about your armaments as well. So if you saw, we're getting a ton of health overall from our gear. So now, usually armaments, you're going to want to have a pretty even breakdown with attack, defense, and health, and maybe some all damage. With cavalry, you want to have a ton of attack, okay? So if you have like a 3.5% roll into attack, try and get a inscription on that, you know, because it would be insane to have that just because, again, our gear set is giving us 0 attack right now. So if you look here, I got a 2.9% attack and a 1.6% all damage. Ideally, you would want to have a defense in there as well, but this is kind of what you would be looking for as far as our set goes for armaments because, again, you're already going to have a ton of health from your gear, so you don't have to worry about health as much compared to like attack and all damage, okay? So jumping back on track before we got distracted about the armament section, the Expedition Warhelm, if you didn't believe me about how broken this helmet is, let me tell you, it's insane. So this is the set that we just finished off at, and our next upgrade is going to be the Pride of the Con. So here's where the comments are going to get a little bit feisty down below, because you can go one of 2 ways here. You can go ahead, and if you're already in Season of Conquest, you can create the Pride of the Con. The Pride of the Con is the best in-slot piece that you can have once you have it, you know, crit, Iconic 5. It is the best cavalry helmet to have in the game, and that's what we're shooting for right now, is the best set, okay? But if you are earlier game, what you can create is the Hellish Wasteland set, because eventually you can create a secondary set and this will be a part of it. So if you are earlier game, just go ahead and create this and get it up as high as you want. That way there's not going to be any competing blueprints, okay? Because this right here is what you can get from equipment, like events, and the Pride of the Con is what you can get from the KVK shop, okay? You cannot get the Pride of the Con any other way. So try and make this if you can. If you're in Season Conquest, if you're earlier and you're a whale in like KVK 2, KVK 3, go ahead and just knock out the Hellish Wasteland helmet, and eventually you'll just replace it and this will go onto a secondary set anyways, okay? So after creating the Pride of the Con, we are getting a nice 7% boost to defense, okay? So that puts us at 32% overall and 37% health. So we're also looking at a quite nice breakdown as far as our base stats go, putting us at 3 attack, 6 defense, and 3 health, okay? So let's upgrade the base stats just a little bit more as we upgrade to our next piece here. Now, if I didn't already make you mad in the comments below, I probably did with this one, okay? So the Sacred Dominion, we're going to create that, giving us a 25% boost to our attack, getting rid of 17% defense as we replace the Heart of the Saint, and our health stays the same. Now, our base attack goes up to 6, so we're at 6, 6, and 3 for the health, okay? Now, again, if you're early game, just create the Hellish Wasteland weapon, okay? Create the Hellish Wasteland weapon instead of the Sacred Dominion. Create the Hellish Wasteland helmet instead of the Pride of the Con. You're still going to have the chest piece and the boots. Don't create anything else for the Hellish Wasteland set. You do not need it, okay? But if you are in Season Conquest and you're wanting the best breakdown as far as the best gear you can create, Sacred Dominion is one of them, okay? Last, but certainly not least, the final thing that we're going to replace is our Gladiator Pants. Now, reminder, our Gladiator Pants were giving us 10.5% cav health, which is insane for an epic piece. And this was the last thing that we're going to replace, and we're going to replace it for the Ash of the Dawn, okay? So it's only going to give us a 1.5% boost to our health, but also our base stats are now all at 6 for our cav attack, defense, and health, okay? So that's insane. This is the best in slot, and overall, what you're looking for as far as creating this is going to be 350 legendary materials and 120 million gold. And that's pre-crit, what you're going to be looking for. So if you're looking for like crits, it's going to be totally different because that is all RNG, random, luck-based, okay? So before we talk about iconic levels and the stats after crit, we're going to talk about the pre-Season of Conquest best in-slot gear to have, and basically it is just the non-KVK piece set. So we're just getting rid of the 2 KVK pieces, and we're going to add the 2 Hellish Wasteland pieces, being the helmet and weapon, and we take slightly diminishing returns. We're going to like lose 5% attack and 4% health, but this is the best gear set to have pre-Season of Conquest. This is also going to be a secondary march just because you're not competing with the blueprints from your KVK weapon and helmet, okay? So competing blueprints, basically, if you have 2 gear sets for 2 cav marches, you don't want to have those being the KVK pieces unless you have them fully decked out, you know? Mainly reason is because you want to try and get things crit for the most stats possible. So here it is, the best in-slot cav gear to create right here. We got the 2 KVK pieces, the 2-piece set for the Hellish Wasteland, and the 2 key pieces, being the Ash of Dawn and the Navar's Control. So all in all, we're looking at 32.5% attack, 19.5% defense, and 51% cavalry health. Now here's where you want to remember your armaments, okay? You want to try and get as much stats on your armaments from your attack and defense as possible. And that third one, if you can roll all damage, try and shoot for it. Again, here is the best in slot to run. So your secondary march, here's what we're looking at. We have 26% attack, 14.5% defense, and still 51% health. So the health stays the same whether you're on the best in slot or the secondary, okay? Now, we also get a 3% boost to counterattack damage, which is okay, it's whatever. But as you saw, our defense and our attack went down just slightly compared to the best in slot, so keep that in mind. And if this video helped you out at all, please smash that like button down below. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 500 subs. We are so close. And if you want to be notified whenever I do go live, like this upcoming weekend, I will be live all weekend long for Kingsland. Smash that notification button so it will notify you whenever I do go live. Outside of that, I hope all y'all have a great rest of your day. Take care. Peace.